And that, man, I wish I could just tattoo that all over me because like the fear of failure, the fear of vulnerability, all of that keeps you stuck, but it's so much worse to not pick a lane and commit than it is to face that fear and just dive in.
Yeah.
Um, because even if it isn't what you think it's going to be, it's so much better than whatever you're afraid of. Um, and that's probably the biggest like quote and lesson I think I carry with me since I saw it.
Welcome to DFW Grit. I'm Dr. James Taylor and I'm your host, and this is more than just a podcast. We dive into the stories of the movers, the shakers, the small business owners, the entrepreneurs, right here in the DFW Metroplex. This is your home for authentic, real stories that prove what happens when you don't back down. Let's get to work. Dude, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, thanks,
amazing.
dude. I didn't rehearse that one in my head, but I've talked about it so much. I feel
No,
like,
dude, it came out like you didn't have to rehearse it.
oh, well, that's good.
That was so good. Like it's my life. I'm the one. Like it's my life. I'm the one who has to live it.
But that's also the reason like I'm in a band. That's the reason I'm somewhat of a tattoo. I don't think I have the same amount that you do. I only have
Well, I
6
mean,
of them. There's actually the one I got this weekend.
oh nice. Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because your kid likes carnivorous plants.
He does. He likes weird things and he loves cacti and Venus flytraps are his favorite. We went to this like metaphysical bookstore that had like books on witchcraft and stuff that were we didn't go for that. We went because a tattoo parlor was doing flash tattoos.
Uh-huh.
And a flat for anyone listening, a flash tattoo is basically a pre-picked set of designs that are usually pretty small and they'll put them on your arms or legs, and it's a way they can get people in and out, make a little money, but also get their name out there.
Yeah.
So I was looking through it not thinking like I was going to get one, and I see this and it felt like fate
Yeah.
because he's been crazy about that. We talk about it all the time, and I was like, I'm going to get this and I'm going to go home immediately and show him and see how much like his eyes light up and everything.
And they did.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
He always subverts my expectations. Like I always want that, everything I do for him, I want that motion picture moment where we're in a field running towards each other. He's like, tattoo.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
wanted. Like,
And
look
he
what I got, buddy.
yeah, and he was like, oh yeah, Venus flytrap. That's really cool, Dad. And I'm like, that was
Yep.
less than I wanted.
Yeah,
But
man.
I like it, so it's fine.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. That right there, in the best way, is a whole bunch of fatherhood in a nutshell. Look
Yeah.
at this great thing I did for you, boy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. All right.
Yeah, can we go to
Okay.
Brahms?
Yes, we can go to Brahms, but just because I want a banana split.
Oh,
But I think that concept of like it's my life, I'm the only one who gets to live it is that's what I think is driving a lot of things I am paying attention to. The band thing was one, that's not a traditional thing.
right.
I kept thinking in my head like, all right, well, I'll do this when I'm young, and then when I'm old, I'll be just like, my dad and all my friends' dads were. Work, home, read the paper, watch the news, you know, and eventually I just think, fuck that. Like, I don't, that whole image, that whole thing didn't make me happy. So as long as I'm taking care of the obligations that are most important, my family, wife, son, extended family, my job, and my health. After that, like it's a blank canvas, man.
Mm-hmm.
Find and this is one of the things that's so exciting and fun. Man, try anything that comes to your mind and just see if you like it.
Yeah.
As long as it's not harmful to you.
Fair.
Meth, heroin, probably pump the brakes
Yeah.
on those. But like I don't know, try like self-defense classes. I did that for a while just because I was like, I wonder what these are like.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Like some things stick and some things don't. But
Pick up a guitar.
it's exciting. Like I always have to be doing something. And so it just I guess I just got to a point like and this happened like when I got sober, like it was that switch that flipped and that realization of like, why am I like trying to quiet my brain down with something that makes me miserable ultimately and ignoring things that I know I love,
Mhm.
but I'm just not doing because, oh, I'm an adult and I'm a guy and that's not what you do. Fuck what you should do.
Yeah.
Like that's if I had, and I'm sorry, I assume cursing is
That was quite
okay.
alright.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking go for it.
If I was writing a book on my life, like this chapter would be called "Fuck Your Should." Like don't all those little things, fuck it. I'm gonna do what makes me happy as long as I am healthy, productive, a good man, meeting my obligations and all that. Beyond that, man, that's world's yours. Do what helps you sleep at night and what makes you want to get up in the morning. So all of
I
that's
can't argue with any of that.
yeah, yeah, that's all that. I had 2 friends, I'm sorry, I'm long-winded, but
You're
I'm just
alright.
gonna keep going. When I was kinda writing down my thoughts last week about what we're gonna talk about, and 2 well, I guess 3 things really came to me, w 2 of them were 2 of my friends that were very different. One of them, in college, it's almost like he was setting his life up and living his life to be that paradigm I talked about.
Mhm.
I am the provider, family man. I do this, I go to work, I come home, and that is my life. And it seems like it makes him happy, so more power to him.
Yeah.
Um, but I just couldn't that's not my DNA, man. I can't live that way. I've got to have some like excitement, some joy, some passion I give something to. And then the other one, and this is a little off topic, but the other one um, was way too cautious uh, to take risks, I think.
Mm.
He was the type of person I hope he's not anymore. We don't talk a lot, but we're still friends, because he moved away, but, he was the type of person that, before he made any sort of decision, he would ask a billion people their
Ah,
advice,
yeah.
and then he would just do what he wanted to do anyway,
Uh-huh.
and it was just like, all right, so you just strained a whole bunch of friendships and then you did what you want to do anyway, and the outcome is what it is. But like that fear can't hold you down, like even in running, I used to kind of be self-conscious and afraid of like, all right, I run really slowly, doesn't look pretty. I'm not one of those
You want that
guys
hair
that
floating in the wind?
yeah, well, I tie it up. I don't like blah, but I don't wanna be one of those guys that you pass on the street who's like, you know, shirts off, but he's like huge and just kinda like I was like, "Yeah, I don't wanna be that." But I know I'm not the guy that's like super rich. So I'm like, "You know what? Fuck it." Like I admire that guy who's
Mhm.
fat with his shirt off running. Dude, you do you. And so it just yeah, I stopped being afraid of the expectation, I think.
It is interesting. I've definitely, again, noticed a lot more times in my life in recent years in which I've been in that same scenario where somebody, and I can't think of a specific scenario off the top of my head, but where somebody has been doing something that just first look on the surface looks stupid.
Yeah.
But then immediately the next thought in my mind is, and again, this has certainly come along more in the past few years, is like, hell yeah, like good for you for doing
Mhm.
whatever that thing is. Good for you for wearing that outfit. Good, like just generally speaking, good for you.
Yeah.
And again, that thought is definitely, it's again the first thought, the one that preempts it is still, what the hell are they doing? You know
Yeah,
what?
that
No.
knee jerk,
And
yeah.
then just a little quick about face. No, like good for you. And I mean, whether it be the fat guy going for a jog on the street, the guy who stops drinking, just hell, even the guy who asks 47 other people their opinion first before he does what he wants.
Yeah.
It is interesting. Like again, just as you said that, like that in and of itself too has been a thought that has crossed my mind a whole lot more. Is this what adulthood is like? Is that what you're helping me realize, that I'm just an adult?
I don't know, that's a really weird concept, and that freaks me out because I kept waiting for, like, for the day I would feel like an
Uh
adult.
huh.
Because growing up, I idolized my dad, I still kinda do in lots of ways, and so I kept thinking that's adulthood. Like clearly he knew he was an adult. He took care. And I never felt that way. I still don't feel like an adult.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does. They all just kind of fake it. And now like everyone, with social media, with the expanded communication, like everyone's just saying things that I think almost every person throughout their life has thought they just never talked about.
Yeah.
Um, my dad, his if I remember correct, I mean, he had some friends, but mostly his social time was probably at work or church, and so there was, obviously, like, those different environments maybe don't you don't talk about certain things,
Mhm.
and so maybe that was the case with, like, a lot of people. They just never had the outlet to, like, address, "Hey, I feel this way." Why are we as a society pushing each other these ways when a lot of us are miserable? Like, I just think it's coming to a point where people are talking about it more.
Well, no,
um
I think you hit the nail right on the head where, like, even the places that he would go, church and work, it was, and I'm sure we both experienced it, surface level dude communication.
yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's literally what it was, and that's what was expected. Anything more or anything less, then you rock the boat. Like, we don't want to have that. And
Yeah.
that guy's asking hard, tough questions about his home life, or
Mhm.
he thinks he might drink too much, or he's his just all the stuff that, for all intents and purposes, I would like to think that on one level or another we're all experiencing to some degree. But
Yeah.
like you said, now we have, everybody is so connected, and then somebody says something, a little uh heavy, let's say, but because this is kind of wild, because there's so many people listening, there's somebody else that's going to go, "Hey, me too,"
Mhm.
and then those guys talk, and like they're like, I brought this up in damn near every episode since I've joined the group, but like that's, I think, why I really like this dad's group that we're in. This is, I mean,
Yeah, it's been good.
there's a lot of dudes in there. Well, duh, dads. But like there's heavy stuff that kind of comes up, and then not only is there, heavy stuff, and it's even people you can tell they're dipping their toe in the water. They're not. I don't want to reveal too much with this post, but I feel the need to reveal
Yeah.
something. And then all of a sudden, 15 dudes are like, "Yeah, bro, like same thing." And just, I mean, shit, I'm getting kind of goosebumps just saying it, but like just that, like you're not alone, kind of like this is not a feeling that's, not to take away from anyone, it's not a feeling that's unique to you or your
Mhm.
situation. This is something that other people in your situation experience also. Like
Yeah.
it's wild, because that's not how we grew up.
Yep.
Al Bundy came home, sat on the couch, stuck his hand in his pants, cracked a beer, and then you just shot jokes at each other.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, like, when am I supposed to feel like an adult? I have definitely had multiple iterations in my head, just going through, like, just as a chiropractor, I see a whole bunch of adults, and then you kind of realize, like, holy shit, like we're all just kind of making it up as we go,
Mhm.
but pretending that we know exactly what's going on. And then one day you're like, holy shit, that's what my parents were doing too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same concept. It's a very simple concept. It's the same reason that Alcoholics Anonymous is so popular. And I'm not going to bang the drum for that program because there are things I like and don't like. But the one thing that was so helpful was just being in a space where you were safe to talk about this problem
Hmm.
with people who understood. And so, like, that fear stops so much, and in guys in particular, you have this thing of, like, I don't want to look weak because I number one, I don't want people to perceive me that way, but I also don't, especially if you have a family, you're like, I don't want to make them feel as though they're not secure.
Yes.
And if I show a crack in the hull of my boat or whatever, my son may start to feel a little insecure, or my
Hmm.
wife may start to feel, like we're on shaky ground or whatever.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that. That fear is always going to be there, but I think, like, it's so much worse to bury that shit down. I mean, obviously you can pick and choose, what you talk about to who. I think that's just wisdom, but
Hmm.
I think burying things and not acknowledging them is so much worse than any other perceived weakness anyone else could, come up with. Um, there was, this reminds me of a quote. Remember, if you watched Band of Brothers,
Mm-mm.
you haven't seen Band of
No,
Brothers?
man.
Oh my god!
Watch a lot of Bluey.
Do you let? Oh, well, Bluey's pretty awesome.
Bluey's
That's
pretty
true.
awesome.
But if you do like historical, and this is I say this is not entirely fiction. It's it's all based on real people and all
Mhm.
real events, but they fill in the blanks. Um, in World War II, it's a fascinating and just really good series, and a lot of life lessons too on that one. But one of them that always sticks out to me is there's one episode they're in the Battle of the Bulge, and they get a new lieutenant in this unit, and the lieutenant is not a strong leader. He's there because he wants to be a career officer, doesn't want to risk it. And so one quote was one of the sergeants who was one of the key members of that episode. The lieutenant's name was Lieutenant Dyke. And he said, Lieutenant Dyke wasn't a bad leader because he made bad decisions. He was a bad leader because he made no decisions.
Mm.
And that, man, I wish I could just tattoo that all over me, because like the fear of failure, the fear of vulnerability, all of that keeps you stuck, but it's so much worse to not pick a lane and commit than it is to face that fear and just dive in.
Yeah.
Um because even if it isn't what you think it's going to be, it's so much better than whatever you're afraid of. Um, and that's probably the biggest like quote and lesson I think I carry with me since I saw it. I was like, that's amazing.
Now, I hope I didn't misread this or read into this the wrong way, but in the pre-show stuff, the question, we had the schedule before, didn't want to do it, and then we got you back on again.
Yeah.
You sent a bunch of questions. Was this feels like it was bigger than what you might have been scared of? Were you
Um,
anxious about doing this
oh,
or?
about doing
Yeah.
this. Um, I mean, not overly so.
Okay.
I was the reason I had to cancel the first time. If I remember correctly, I think like I had several fires at work I had to put out, and it just wasn't, I couldn't do it that day. But I did one podcast that was about sobriety several months ago,
Hmm.
and I love talking about my thoughts and my journey, obviously, because I won't shut up about it. Um, so I wasn't really nervous about this. I just wanted to make sure I had all my thoughts down and everything. Um,
So that's just the analytical guy in you.
yes, analysis paralysis, I think is
Uh-huh.
the yeah. I definitely fall victim to that sometimes. But it's especially in my profession, like that happens a lot. We love detail. Finance guys, we love numbers, we love details, we love data. But at the end of the day, you have to do something with that data.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
just to
can't.
kind of bring this back around,
Yeah.
like for all intents and purposes, like everything, everything has to be dealt with.
Yes.
Period. And even if you put that stuff down or put it behind you or whatever, and just I'll wait to deal with it later. Like in
Hmm.
the end, everything gets dealt with one way or another.
Yeah.
If you can make the choice to actually deal with it now, and again, like you said, you don't know the outcome, but making a commitment to actually go forward and do something is going to get you so much further than literally doing nothing.
Yeah.
And at the very least, if you decide, okay, we're going to deal with this thing now, and again, speaking in great generalities, in just life consciousness, but then again, if we go back to just the guy stuff, if you decide to deal with it now, at least then you have some modicum of control over it, as opposed
Exactly.
to when it blows up and then you're dealing with an absolute shitstorm.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that reminds me. I always bring it back to something I've read or seen, but that reminds me of something I read about, was like King Richard or King Henry. It was one of the kings in England. I can't remember which one.
We've had a couple, but
Yeah, I feel like it's a trend. It's a problem. No. Um, anyway, he invaded France because, he thought he was ordained by God to rule the world. And anyway, he invades France after France had turmoil. He loses a bunch of his army, and he's being tailed by this massively superior French army. And instead of retreating back to England and all that stuff, he actually uh, picks the battlefield in which he's going to fight them. And because he strategically picked it so he could funnel them through, So their numbers weren't such a big deal, and it was a massive victory. And that's exactly what you're saying. Like, the only thing that changes between putting off facing a problem or doing it now is you get to pick the battlefield.
Mm,
Like, you get to pick how and when you face that. Um, and that's I mean, that you couldn't ask for anything better when you have to face whatever issue you're
yeah.
facing.
So at the very least, pick the battlefield.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, man. That's another one. I'm gonna tattoo that somewhere on me. I'll show it to my son. He'll be like, "I don't freaking care, dad." Yeah,
Battlefield?
but
Go to battle?
pick your own battlefield.
Dude, this,
That's cheesy, Dad.
the grand majority of the people that I've had on here, I've had on, this whole thing started to, one as just a way for, me to use a creative side of my brain,
Yeah.
but to like help out, other business owners and things like, hey, let me give you a platform to talk about stuff. And nothing's coming to mind. So I apologize if I'm skipping over somebody, but I don't know that I've had just as good of just a talk and a conversation
Yeah,
as I have today. I really appreciate this.
absolutely. No, me too. It's this kind of thing is also an outlet for me. And no, I enjoy talking about this stuff. But I have a question for you.
Oh, very well.
And
How the turntables.
Yeah, well, I'm curious, and it's on the topic. Um, so you're one of two chiropractors I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
It's not, at least where I was and where I grew up. We saw like chiropractic clinics and stuff,
Yeah.
but I didn't know anything about it. Um, and you were sick, you went to the pediatrician and all this stuff. So speaking of non-traditional paths or carving your own way and stuff, when you made the decision to get into chiropractic medicine, did you find that you had any hurdles, either mentally yourself or externally, for people who said, "Wait, why are you doing that? Why not? If you're getting to medicine, go to med
Uh-huh.
school, do this, do that path." What was your experience in that way?
I've had a couple of, and I'm still to this day, like, you're not a doctor, you're just a chiropractor. Okay. It, young chiropractic me, been all over that. Now I'm like, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
fine. But like I literally, so I'm a chiropractor because my dad went to chiropractic school.
Okay.
He's not a chiropractor. He was never practicing, but he went to chiropractic school. He had trouble passing the final national board exam.
Mm.
So it never became a practicing one. Um, I also became a chiropractor because I was going to go into orthopedics. And it wasn't until
Right.
like I was well into college where I actually like, okay, what does this actually look like? How does one become an orthopedist?
Yeah.
Okay, med school, sure. Holy shit, 10 years of residency? I'm out.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, that's
daunting.
dumb. So went to chiropractic school, and when I decided that that was the path I was going to take after undergrad, I went home and I told my folks. And my mom literally goes, "Do you just want to be a chiropractor so people will call you doctor?" And I went, partly,
Oof.
but like I like anatomy and I like how the
Yeah.
whole thing works. But yeah, partly, and I'm rather upset that that was your first your first go to,
Yeah, I
calling
don't
me
know what
out
to
like
make of
that.
that, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, so that's I ended up as a chiropractor because I liked anatomy, because I realized that an orthopedist had that 10-year residency, which I was not about.
Yeah.
I looked at prosthetics for a while.
Oh,
Like I think it'd be
that's
real cool to
interesting.
make prosthetics. And then again, this was in the latter half of my college career when I actually decided, okay, I got to figure out what this process looks like, and just the sheer amount of math that those guys have to know.
Yeah.
Like and now I say it to people every day. I have memorized a coloring book.
Okay.
We've got the Netter Anatomy Atlas. It is the go-to anatomy atlas
Right.
that chiros use, that med schools use, that PTs use. It's the anatomy book, and I like pretty pictures. I like colorful pictures, and they stick up here really well.
Yeah, it's just the way I guess you learn and you obtain
Yep.
information. Yeah.
And then
Very
I
cool.
can apply that with these things. Like that's the great thing. I'm just completely biased. The great thing about chiropractic, this is all I need. When this
Oh,
place
yeah.
flooded, we were still open. Like there was no carpet on the floor. Like every wall here was cut 3 feet out, had a flood cut going all the way
Mhm.
around. This place was still operating because I had these.
Yeah, I was impressed. I remember seeing that on Facebook. I don't remember, what was it, a pipe that burst? What
Yep,
happened?
next door.
Okay. Yeah, you posted about that, and I was like, "Shit!" Like, I don't know how long you're gonna be down for, but it was obviously that's a huge thing. And you were like, "Oh no, we're still open, making things happen." And it
Yep.
was just like, "Hey, you gotta admire that, man.
It's 7 days. And
Believe what you're doing and find a
wonderfully
way."
enough, like I told the girls that year, I'm like, hey, if we hit this certain metric for the business, if we hit this collection amount by December, we're going to take the week off between Christmas and New Year's. And we
Hmm.
hit that. So we already had that week off, and it was Christmas Day that we found the flood. So we didn't have any patients scheduled that week. January 1st was on a Tuesday. So we found the flood Christmas morning, and
Uh,
we got people in here and cleaning it up, and we had the fans going and everything. And they came back in here January 1st, and they did the readings. Like, okay, cool, it's dry enough. So it's like, sweet, January 2nd, we're open,
yeah, it's
back
safe.
at her.
Not pretty, but it's safe, and so
Yep.
we'll find a way.
And it
Yeah.
was, so somebody's like, well, don't you worry about like privacy issues? Because again, like all the walls were cut. Like, hey, it says the same privacy as a gas station bathroom. We're good to go.
That's all you need, man.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like I said. Well, you're the second chiropractic I've seen. I saw one guy for a while, but this table here,
Hmm.
which I guess your viewers can't see, it says TR1000. Is that
Yep.
just like the model? I don't know. Whatever that thing is, it pops up and like rolls.
Yep.
Man, I want one of those. That thing. Every time I would come in, it was so comfortable, and then it would stop, and I'd be like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that's pretty
I'll tell you
cool.
the same thing I tell the patients that walk in and out of here. Go on Facebook, look for chiropractic buy sell trade sites. You'll find
Oh yeah.
offices that are
Okay.
closing, and you'll be able to get one of those without a
Mm.
comma in the price.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but just to bring this to a close, normally again I talk to a lot of business owners like, hey, where can we find you and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
you're not out here promoting anything, but I imagine you still want butts in the seats at your shows. Where do people
absolutely.
find out about Culper Ring and where they can be seen next?
The Culper Ring, we're on Instagram at the Culper Ring Band. We're on Facebook, Spotify. All of our music is up there. We still have some songs we're going to release, but we put out an EP, basically a small shortened album. Um, Go listen to our stuff there. And we're pretty active on socials, so do that or shoot me a Facebook message, and I'll point you in the right direction.
And next show is September sometime.
Yeah, actually, let me hold on. Let me get the actual date.
Oh, very well.
I'm terrible with stuff like that. But like I said, Haltom City, Haltom Theater, and that is going to be that's what September. I'm sorry, that's a different one. September 12th will be in Granbury.
Okay.
Um, there's actually a really those are fun shows too. This is a cool brewery that's out there. Can't remember what it's called. It's right like on the square.
Okay.
And they have this kind of a nice back room. And every time I go out there, I guess Granbury is starved for like entertainment. Every time I go out there, we've been out like 3 times, and it's packed, and it is so fun. Like everyone's just there, and they're like, "I'm gonna drink craft beer, and I'm going to enjoy whatever the hell comes out of those
Yeah.
amplifiers." And it's awesome. So that's gonna be a good one. I'm sure we will play Haltom City again, but the 12th will be Granbury, right off the square. So
That's awesome.
it'll be good.
And again, I said this already, and I mean it with every ounce of sincerity. Again, this was a wonderful conversation,
Oh, good, man.
and it
I
was
enjoyed it.
completely different than what I expected, but at the same time, I think it's exactly what it should have been.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I like talking, but non-traditional paths in life are like the most fascinating and fun things to talk about and the fun. I once worked with a guy in Weatherford, and he was their fire marshal. Um, he had this weird path. He was in the Navy right after, I don't think he was in Vietnam, but he was in the Navy probably in the 80s. And then he left, and he became a freaking zookeeper. Yeah, like
Naturally.
out of all the things you could think of, you would be like, "Wait, what?" Like, that wasn't even in my head, and then he did that for a fair amount of time, and then became a firefighter and the fireman. He was the funnest guy to talk
I
to.
bet. The guy's he's
That's
living his own choose your own adventure
yeah,
book.
like, just all right. The exact that should be life.
Yeah.
Choose your own adventure, man, and, like, make sure you're happy, healthy, alive, and not harming anyone, including yourself, but then beyond that, man, Find something,
You
dude.
know,
Get out there and just do stuff.
and I tell you, I end every episode with this, and I think people could get more than just one instance of this. But like, I like to think that people will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design.
Yeah,
And dude, I think you dropped some wonderful knowledge today.
I hope so, man. I hope
Dude,
so.
I appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me, dude.
No
Anytime.
problem.
Yeah.
Guys, as always, like, share, follow the Culper Ring, apparently on all the socials.
Yep.
Granbury in September. And we'll catch you on the next one right here on another episode of DFW Grit. We'll see y'all later.
Alrighty.